Something happened in the Cape Coral Golf Access market last month that hasn't happened in over 4 years. We flipped into a seller's market. The last time that happened was May of 2022, right at 870,000 median price point. That's when everything changed. Interest rates spiked, Hurricane Ian hit, and this market flipped from a seller's market into a buyer's market almost overnight. Prices dropped over $170,000 by December of 2022. We've been in that buyer's market ever since. 4 straight years, but last month, for the first time since that shift happened, the numbers turned back the other direction. We've come full circle. And when a market moves from a buyer's market into a seller's market, there's only one place prices go from there: up. Not fast, but up. Cape Coral Golf Access inventory just dropped to 3.9 months of supply, and 2 of the 3 Golf Access quadrants in Cape Coral are already in seller's market territory. Now, at the same time, demand keeps climbing. We just posted our 6th straight month of over 100 Golf Access home sales here in Cape Coral. Last year, that only happened once all year. So if you've been waiting for a sign that this market is shifting, this is it. In this update, I'll walk you through exactly where each quadrant stands, what's happening with pricing, and what I'd be doing right now if I were buying or selling a Golf Access home here in Cape Coral, Florida. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor, and this is your August 2026 Golf Access Market Update.
Welcome aboard. I'm Barry Cessna, your Cape Coral Golf Access Realtor, and this is your Cape Coral Golf Access Homes Market Update for August 2026. We have a ton of information to unpack. We're going to look at active inventory, closed sales for the last month, and then 3 months back, and then an entire year back. We always compare the numbers back 3 months and then 1 year, so we can see what trends are happening and how the market is actually changing. But we're going to look at inventory, we're going to look at closed sales, we're going to look at the median price point, days on the market before going under contract, and then we also look at the amount of inventory, like months of inventory. How much inventory do we currently have available based on the current demand? Now, the story this month, like we've been talking about this year, we've seen the Golf Access Canal home market really increase. A lot more demand this year, the first 7 months of the year, compared to where we've seen it the last few years. So we're going to dive into that a little bit more. But the biggest story, we actually just dropped in to a seller's market. Now, don't get too excited yet if you're thinking about selling your home, because we're not seeing the prices adjust much. We're going to look at that in just a moment. One thing I will ask, though, if you are inclined to leave a comment about how the Cape Coral market is absolutely horrible, it's falling apart, prices are crashing, inventory is increasing, I would ask you to please put your sources in the comments as well, because the information just doesn't add up. You know that I pull all my numbers exactly directly from the MLS here in Cape Coral in the Southwest Florida area. So these are the numbers. I don't make them up. These are the actual numbers. This last month, I saw 3 different posts on Instagram. One was the worst markets for 2026, and had Cape Coral losing, was it 9.5% or something silly, like prices were dropping, which couldn't be further from the truth. And then another one was inventory is increasing, buyers have a chance again. Well, inventory increased 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. We saw inventory increase. We've been seeing inventory decrease for the last 18 months. So I don't know where they get these things at. I mean, if it's just all old news or fake news or what it is, but understand, these are the numbers from the MLS directly. So let's get into it. Enough ranting about that. But if you are inclined to leave a comment that would be along the lines of old or fake news, please cite your sources. That would be very beneficial to myself and the people watching these videos. All right, let's jump into it. So first off, we have to understand market indicators. This is how we have to know what is happening in the market exactly. Inventory, this is how many homes are currently available in the market. This is our supply. Median price point, 50% of the homes sold above this amount, 50% of the homes sold below this amount. So this helps us see if the prices are trending up or trending down. Days on the market. How many days are homes sitting on the market before going under contract? Closed sales. How many homes are actually selling here in the city of Cape Coral compared to sitting on the market? closed sales demonstrate the demand, how many buyers we have here buying homes in Cape Coral. All right, first up, we're going to look at active inventory, current inventory for golf access homes. Now, this market update is for single-family golf access homes here in the city of Cape Coral. We cover the 3 quadrants: southeast, southwest, and northwest. So July 2026, inventory 419 golf access canal homes available for purchase here in the city of Cape Coral. April 2026, 575, and then July 2025, 674 homes available 1 year ago. So as you can see, that's a huge decrease from where we were 1 year ago. And if we look back to where we were back in 2020, like the first part of 2024 going into season, and then we saw the surge happen. We were actually at one point, I believe it was back in January 2025, we were sitting at about 900 golf access canal homes on the market. Now we're sitting at about 419. Now, I keep hearing this a lot from a lot of my clients because I have clients that I've been working with for the last couple of years. They say, Barry, I'm going to wait till the market goes down. I'm going to wait. And I explain to them how the market's working and how it has gone down and how it has leveled out. And now they're in a position to where they think they're ready to buy. But they keep saying to me, Barry, you were sending me so many more homes or better options just a year ago. What happened to all the options? Well, this is the problem. About a year and a half ago, we had almost or just over 900 homes available on the market. Currently, we have 419. So that's what you're seeing, and you don't have as many options. And if the inventory keeps decreasing and the supply or the demand keeps increasing, you're going to have even fewer options. So right now, I believe we're in a really great area because you still have options and the prices haven't gone up yet. So if you are thinking about it, I would highly recommend taking a serious look. Definitely book a strategy video call with me and let's chat about your situation if it's time for you or not. Median price point. So currently median price point, July 2026, $728,000 for a golf access canal home here in the city of Cape Coral. 50% of the homes sold above that amount, 50% of the homes sold below that amount. April 2026, $757,500 for a golf access canal home. And then July 2025, 1 year ago, $658,000 is the median price point for a golf access home. So as you can see, those numbers are kind of all over the place. But if we look back to July, August, September, October of 2025, we will see those numbers were quite a bit lower than where they've been this year. So in theory, the idea is that we are starting to see an increase and we are starting to see it slowly go up. And it's not going to be a fast move, but we are seeing prices start to adjust north again, signaling we're getting closer to a seller's market. Now we're going to look at inventory available here in just a moment and see how that's looking for sellers, but let's get into that in just a moment. So days on the market, currently July 26, 73 days on the market before a home went under contract. April 2026, 58 days on the market. And 1 year ago, July 2025, 111 days on the market. So as you can see, even compared to last year, we're still seeing those days on the market decrease substantially. Now, 73 days on the market is still a long time for a golf access home to be sitting on the market. And last month, it wasn't quite that long. However, what happens is a lot of home goes on the market in season, say January, February, March, April, May, June. And if a home's not desirable, if a home's way overpriced, they just sit on the market and they just rack up days. And that's what bumps up this number. If a home is well priced, it's selling within about 25 to 30 days on the market if it's well priced and it's in great shape. 73 days is kind of it's not a real accurate number. However, that is the number. It's a little bit skewed. All right, let's jump ahead. Closed sales. July 2026, 108 closed sales. Golf access homes here in the city of Cape Coral. That's a lot of homes being traded or moving from buyer or from seller to buyer. So when people say Cape Coral is falling apart, nobody's going to Cape Coral anymore. What's happening in Cape Coral? 108 sales of golf access homes is a huge number. And overall in the city, I believe we had well over 400. I believe it was close to 500. I haven't looked at those exact numbers yet, but for the month of July and all the homes that sold here, single family in the city of Cape Coral, we were well over 400, close to 500 closed sales. We'll do that market update here next Sunday. All right, April 2026, 112 sales, and then July 2025, just 71 closed sales. A huge jump from where we were last year. And that's what I've been stressing all year. We've been having some pretty strong months the last couple of years, but we really saw the golf access market take off this year. Starting in February, you'll see here in February, it really jumped up to over 100 closed sales for golf access canal homes. And it's been like that the last 6 months. We've been over 100 or over 100 closed sales. Last year, to give you some perspective, we only had 1 month that was over 100 closed sales in all of last year. That was 103, and I believe that was back in May or April of 2025. So the demand is here. And oftentimes, when we start to see these golf access demand increasing, that means folks are feeling more and more confident. The second homeowners, these are higher priced homes. These are a lot of luxury properties. So when we start to see these ones sell, that means the market's turning because the buyers that are buying these, it's not investors just coming in and buying low dollar stuff in order to flip or rent. These are actual second homes, vacation homes, people moving to the area that are buying these, and they're buying them because they see the opportunity and they're tired of the cold winters up north, and they know that it's time to get into the market. So that's why we're seeing over 100 sales every single month for the last 6 months. All right, months of inventory. Now, this is the chart that you really want to pay attention to. How do we get these numbers? Basically, this is the amount of inventory that we have available divided by the demand, how many homes sold. So when we look at that number, if we had not another new home come to the market, it would take us 3.9 months to completely sell all of our homes available on the market with the current demand that we have. So 3.9 months, July 2026, April 2026, it was 5.1 months. And then July 2025, 1 year ago, 9.5 months of inventory. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy. Anywhere between 4 and 6 months is considered a neutral market. Anything over 6 months is a buyer's market. Anything under 4 months is a seller's market. And for the last several years, we have been in a buyer's market. If you look at this, the last 6 months, we've been right at a neutral or in a neutral market or below a neutral market into a seller's market, which we just hit for the month of July. Now, the reason I bring this up and why I think it's so important to understand is as inventory continues to decrease and demand continues to increase, prices have got to start going up. So you are going to miss your opportunity if you wait much longer. I'm really curious to see how this season plays out once we get into January, February, March. I believe we're going to see some homes come to the market. However, I think the demand is going to be even more so than it was this year, which is really going to drive up prices once we get into season. So I do believe you have a window of a few months left of these really bottom prices. But once we get back into season of 2027, January, February, March, April, May, prices are going to increase. Now, with that being said, unless something crazy happens on the national front that would really cause our whole economy to have issues. But right now, the local market, what we're seeing in Cape Coral, the only logical thing to happen would be prices will increase based on demand and supply. Now, if we go back to when was the last time we had 3.9? When was the last time we had a seller's market in the city of Cape Coral? The last month that we had a seller's market was May of 2022, over 4 years ago. And at that point, the prices were at $870,000 was the median price point for a home in May of 2022. Interest rates shot up in June of 2022. We started to see prices start to drop. And then September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian, which really decimated the Cape Coral area and really set our market into a spiral. By December, we were at $699,000 median price point on a golf access home here in Cape Coral. So from May, we were $870,000. By December, we were at $699,000. That was our big drop. That was the crash that everyone talks about, only it happened very quickly. We got to December, and from December 2022 until now, we really haven't seen prices fluctuate a whole lot. Right now, they're at $728,000. We've seen them drop a little bit below the 700 mark, and we've seen them be above 700,000 for the Golf Access homes. So the folks have been waiting and waiting and waiting. Really, you've just been enduring those cold winters for no reason because the market has not shifted much farther south than it was in December of 2022. Now, back to our point here, we were in a seller's market the last time in May 2022. We just hit a seller's market again. So what's going to happen next month and the next month? We're going to keep a close eye on it. But I can tell you, with the amount of inventory we have, with the builders slowing down, and the amount of demand that we have, it's only a matter of time before prices start jumping. One of the things I have been talking to some builders in the area, because the builders have slowed down over the last 18 months or so, they are starting to see the numbers, they're starting to see what's painted on the wall, and actually a few of them are starting to build again on these Golf Access lots. So that's another sign that they're starting to get comfortable and they're expecting prices to increase as well. Okay, let's jump ahead to other key numbers to be aware of. Sold price per square foot, $366 a square foot. List price received, 96.2%. Now, if you've been following my reports for very long, you know that list price received was around 94%, 93%. It was under 95% there for probably the last couple of years. And what this is basically whatever the list price is, the buyer is typically getting a discount by about 6%. Well, we've seen this number increase over the last few months. Now buyers are getting about a 4% discount off the list price. Back when we were really cruising back in 2021, 2022, the first part of 2022, that was sitting at 100%. Sellers were not giving any discounts. Sellers are still giving discounts. It's just lessening the gap there. Now, obviously, if you understand the market like I do, you're able to help your clients get some really good discounts on the purchase price based on the market and understanding the market. You definitely don't want to overpay for a home right now. There's no reason to. You want to understand what the market is, what the home is valued at, and then that's what you want to pay for it. New listings hitting the market here in Cape Coral, Golf Access Homes, 92 new Golf Access homes hit the market, and then months of inventory, 3.9 months of inventory available for purchase here, Golf Access Homes. All right, let's compare Southeast, Southwest, and Northwest. As you know, Northeast Cape Coral does not have any Golf Access Canal homes, only freshwater and dry lots. However, the other three quadrants, Southeast, Southwest, and Northwest, do have Golf Access Canal homes. And let's go ahead and take a look at that market. So Southeast, which is the area of the yacht club, the hospital, the Walmart, that area there. This is the Southeast Country Club neighborhood. Median price, $580,000. 44 homes sold in this market, or in this area, this quadrant. Homes available currently 174, and months of inventory 4. So this price actually dropped from where we were last month. The amount of sales actually went down, and inventory went up just a bit. However, at 4, we're sitting right there on the cusp of a seller's market in a neutral market. Now, median price for the Southwest market or quadrant, $764,500 for a home there. This is going to be over near Tarpon Point, Cape Harbor, Surfside, that area there. $764,500. Homes sold, 46 homes sold. Homes available, 174. We've been seeing these numbers shrink every single month. Months of inventory, we hit a seller's market, 3.8 months of inventory in Southwest Cape Coral. Again, prices haven't shifted yet, or if they have, it's ever so slightly. But when we're seeing this low of inventory and this high of demand, that's something to pay attention to. Now, the big story here is Northwest Cape Coral. $895,000 was the median price point there. And the reason that's a big story is because last month, that was substantially less. What this tells me, now in Northwest Cape Coral, there's a lot of new homes there. This is the area that's wide open, lots of empty lots. This is where the spec home builders are coming in and they're building beautiful homes right on the Golf Access canals, and they're charging a premium for that. Now, if the home's not beautiful or doesn't have all the luxury amenities, they are taking some pretty big hits. But last month, $895,000 was the median price point. That's a lot of money. That's high dollar stuff selling up there. And we sold 18 homes in the Northwest Cape. Last month, it was only 8 homes. They sold 10 more homes this month. So that area is starting to catch fire. I don't think it's going to maintain 18 homes every single month, but it is something to pay attention to because there are a lot of opportunities there. I myself just put 2 golf access homes under contract for a couple of my buyers here in the last 2 weeks. And I will say they got some pretty good opportunities for what the homes were priced for, where they started at, and what we were able to actually negotiate and get them under contract at. Now, homes available in the Northwest Cape Coral, currently 71 golf access canal homes there in Northwest, and months of inventory at 3.9, which we dropped out on this one. We hit the seller's market, but I do expect that to go back up next month because I don't think we're going to sell 18 homes again in Northwest. It's just a slower area up there. There's not as many homes available, and there's not as many homes that typically sell in the Northwest. However, there's a lot of opportunity there. Last month, I believe it was closer to 10 months of inventory, but just because of this huge number of 18, that's what really increased the months of inventory, or lowered the months of inventory, the demand. All right, other key numbers to be aware of, because you do need to pay attention to the overall big picture of what's happening in order to make wise decisions. Inflation currently at 3.5%. It peaked at 9.1% back in June 2022. We're at 3.5% now. Just last month, we were at 4.2%. So that's a great sign to see that coming down. That will definitely help interest rates because interest rates have been ticking up. Interest rates peaked at 8.01% back in November 2023. We're now sitting at 6.67%. Our target is to be below 6%. However, what we've been seeing, and like I said, the demand for golf access canal homes has been increasing this year substantially more than where it has been the last few years, is these buyers of these big dollar homes are accepting the fact that interest rates are going to be right there in the mid sixes, and that's what they're buying with, or a lot of them are paying cash as well. Unemployment is at 4.2% and staying steady. We're not seeing much of a change there. We haven't for the last few years. Current supply. Current inventory here for golf access canal homes is 419 homes available for purchase at this exact moment as of August 1st. Year over year decrease, that's a decrease of 37.8%. Those homes are gone. They've either been bought, they haven't been replaced by builders, or people were trying to get more money than the market would pay for them, so the homes have come off the market. Demand, population is estimated now at 240,000 people here in the city of Cape Coral. Next 4 years, we're expected to hit 260,000 people by 2050, 320,000, fastest growing city in the United States. We're often ranked as one of the fastest growing cities, and definitely here in the state of Florida. So the demand is here. It's amazing. You know, you see articles about Cape Coral becoming a ghost town, and it's all a bunch of rubbish, but it's amazing to see what's happening here in the city with the parks. They're going through a lot of the different parks here and they're redoing them. They're absolutely beautiful. They're going through some old areas of town that have been neglected. Cape Coral recently just bought this huge section of southeast Cape Coral in the downtown area, and it was a lot of old multifamily. They bought them all up and they've knocked them all down, and they're going to build some incredible things there just to really increase the value of the city. We've got Coral Grove going up there in the northwest, a huge shopping center, a movie theater, hotels, things like that. And then, of course, Seven Islands there in the northwest too, which is just going to be a game changer up there. So lots of things happening here in Cape Coral. So anybody that tells you that Cape Coral's a ghost town and everybody's leaving Cape Coral couldn't be further from the truth. So go ahead and come on down and visit, and we'll show you around and show you what's happening down here. Next up, is now the time to buy? And I've been saying yes for the last couple of years that it's a buyer's market. You need to pay attention, and you need to take advantage. Supply is slowed, so the options just aren't there anymore. Not like they were a year ago, 2 years ago. We have fewer options. So when you do find something you like, I highly recommend you jump on it. Buyer demand has increased, which means less opportunities as well. So where will you be next winter? And this is the big question. Why do you keep wasting time in the north, in Chicago, Cleveland, Minneapolis, upstate New York, just wasting your life away in the winter when you could be down here enjoying it? One of the things, I have friends in Chicago there, and I talk to them and they tell me, Barry, it's already getting close to the end of summer. We're already talking about putting our boat into storage. and it's just not a good situation. We have to put it into storage and we don't get to take it out for 7 months. So down here, you can dock your boat right in your own backyard, navigate out to the open water, and enjoy it 365 days a year. It's a really cool feeling to have your boat docked right in your own backyard, just to be able to look at it out the window. I love looking out my window at my canal right here from my office. It's absolutely great to be able to do that. Sellers still willing to negotiate. So yes, sellers are still willing to negotiate. We are seeing that tighten a little bit. However, the sellers are still willing to negotiate, and I've seen buyers get some pretty good opportunities. All right, is now the time to sell? We're getting closer, but you have to still ask yourself, why do you want to sell? You have to set your expectations correctly, because if you think you're going to get some of those higher price points of 2021, 2022, we're not there. We never increased since we fell in December of 2022, 16%. So we're still sitting a lot lower than we were back then. However, we're nowhere near as low as we were back in 2019, the first part of 2020. So we never fell to that level, but we did drop a little bit, about 16%. So why do you want to sell? Set your expectations correctly. I understand that Cape Coral is a market that changes often. A lot of times folks move on down, they retire here, they enjoy 20, 30 years down here, and then eventually it does become time to where they're getting a little bit older, they're not able to take care of the property anymore, their health is starting to go out a little bit, and they do need to move back north with their family. And so then we do see those homes go back on the market. Other reasons they go back on the market is because a lot of times people get transferred with their jobs. Maybe they can no longer work remotely, things like that, where they might be moving north again. Prices stabilized, but they're not increasing. So we are seeing them stabilize. They're not increasing yet. However, I do believe it's only a matter of time, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to start to see prices start to increase once we get into 2027. So there's a small window left for buyers, and sellers can start to anticipate getting their homes on the market once we get into season next year. But not big increases. We're not going to see any big increases for quite a while. What's extremely important, though, if you do need to sell or you do want to sell, is to have an agent that has strategic selling, that uses AI, that understands the market knowledge from one neighborhood to the next, from one canal to the next. Every canal is so different. It has to do with direct or indirect, how wide the canals are, how long is it to get to open water. And I did a really big series on this where I go through every single neighborhood in Cape Coral and go over the distance to open water, the mean high water at high tide for the bridges, so you know exactly how much space you have and what type of boat you can dock at your home behind the bridges. And then, of course, we cover flood zones as well, because that's important to know. Now, again, it's a whole package to understand how to market a home and get it sold. It's extremely important to have the right person or the right team on your side. So I help out a lot of clients with that, especially out of town clients. That's where we really excel, and that's what my team is designed to do. If you're up north and you're thinking about selling your home, we do video calls. I can go over and take a look at the house and give you an exact amount of what your home will sell for. If you're here in the area, I'm happy to come over and take a look at your house. We can chat and see what it makes sense, if it makes sense to sell your home in the current market. All right, that concludes this market update. This was the Gulf Access Canal home for August 2026 market update. I'm sure you found this extremely beneficial with some great information here. We try to pull all the numbers to give you an exact idea of what's happening here in the Cape Coral market, so you're not going in blind, whether you're thinking about buying or selling. Now, if you're thinking about buying, selling, retiring, or relocating here in the next, whether it's the next month, the next year, the next 3 years, go ahead and reach out to me. Click that link in the description, or take a picture of the QR code right there on your screen. Set up that Zoom call. Let's talk. We do a video conference. I'm going to walk you through step by step everything you need to know about Cape Coral. You can ask me any questions that you have. It's all complimentary. I love talking about Cape Coral. I love, really, it's just an incredible city. It's the Venice of the United States. Over 400 miles of navigable canals, both freshwater and saltwater. But we talk about floods, flood zones. We talk about distance to water, bridge heights, the different neighborhoods, what it is that you're looking for exactly. If you're looking for something brand new, if you're looking for something for a little older, what your comfort level is from the flood zone standpoint, and then of course what what the age of the property that you want to purchase as well, and how far you want to be to open water. So go ahead and click that link. Let's talk about this. Let's get it rolling. There's no reason at all for you to spend another winter up north. It took me 3 years to move down here from Colorado from the time I decided I was going to do it. And I really look back on that and I'm really disappointed that it took me 3 full years before I finally was able to get myself down here. And it was just a lot of different things happening, but that don't waste time. Life is short, have fun, and let's get you a home here on a Golf Access Canal where you can dock your boat right out back.